What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be looking at the biggest winners of the transfer portal so far. And I was going to make this video on the winners and the losers of the transfer portal, but I decided just to talk about the winners from the portal because there's a lot of teams going crazy in the portal right now. And I'm going to talk about some of them in this video. But the transfer portal has really been all over the place as of lately. We've seen some big time players like Dylan Gabriel and Dante Moore transfer to the Oregon Ducks. We've also seen Walter Nolan transferred to Ole Miss. Will Howard just recently transferred to Ohio State. I mean, the list is very long, and there's been a lot of players to transfer to other schools. But some players are still yet to decide on where they will end up going. And a big name that may stand out is the number one receiver in the portal, Evan Stewart, who hasn't transferred anywhere yet. So it'll be interesting to see which team lands him in the transfer portal. But I haven't done a video on the portal in weeks, and there's a lot to talk about. But before I get into this video, let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel because we post daily college football videos. And we basically cover everything on this channel. So consider helping me out by subscribing to the channel. And for everyone who enjoys my content, here's a quick announcement for you guys. I will start posting college football YouTube shorts and TikToks at the end of February. And I'm really excited about that because I'd like to grow a bigger community. But I do enjoy the support that you guys leave on this channel. And hopefully some of you will watch my shorter videos. But without further ado, let's talk about some of the biggest winners of the transfer portal. And to start, the team that has to be the most obvious to be on the list is the Ole Miss Rebels. And honestly, what they're doing in the portal this year is insane. And if you thought you've seen a massive improvement from this team in 2023, I'm telling you, wait until next season starts. Because I do think this team will be better in the SEC, even with Texas and Oklahoma joining. The one big weakness that has kept them from being elite is their defense. But if you look at what they're doing in the portal, you have to say they have a shot to compete in the SEC next year. Maybe they aren't on the level of Alabama or Georgia yet, but it's way too early to tell. But I gotta say, they have a shot because they have the number one ranked transfer portal player who was a 5-star defensive lineman, Walter Nolan from Texas A&M. They also got 2 4-star edge rushers from other SEC schools to help out on that defensive line. They also got linebacker Chris Paul Jr., who was also a 4-star. Now these rankings are according to 24/7 Sports for any of you guys who are wondering, but Chris Paul Jr. is also from another SEC school. But that's not even all the defensive players they picked up out of the portal. They are going to be loaded with talent in the front 7. But what about the players they have picked up in the secondary? They didn't get any players who will play a significant impact, but they got some key guys who could help out, like 4-star cornerback from Mississippi State. And they got 3 other secondary players who are 3 stars. So if you add all those defensive players up, that's 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, and 3 3-stars. But I guess I should mention that they also picked up a 4-star receiver on the offensive side to help out with their offense that was already really good this season. And the cherry on top of all of this is that they have quarterback Jackson Dart returning, who passed for nearly 400 yards against Penn State. I will say one downside is that unfortunately they did lose their starting running back, who was a very good player this year, and he was the team's leading rusher. But I have no doubt that they can find a replacement for him, and I don't really have much concerns for that offense. The defense has been a concern of Ole Miss, but they picked up some players who should really help them out. But it'll be interesting to see just how good they are next year, and if they are actually a legit contender in the SEC. But another team that has done very good in the portal is actually Deion Sanders in Colorado. Look, you can talk all the crap in the world you want about Deion Sanders, but I highly doubt this team will be 4-8 next year. They will probably be better, and they will also play easier competition. And Deion Sanders draws in the big-time players. He signed the number 1 offensive tackle, 5-star Jordan Seaton, in his recruiting class. But let's look at what he's done in the portal in year 2 at Colorado. He has picked up 18 guys from the portal and has the number 2 ranking in the transfer portal, only behind Ole Miss, which is going to be very hard to surpass. And a big majority of the players he's gone for is the big guys up front on the defense and the offensive line, which is what Colorado desperately needs. Because this team did have some decent skill position players this season, and they had guys like Travis Hunter and Shadir Sanders that really helped the team out, but he's working towards making this team more complete on both sides of the ball and actually being a threat. Colorado picked up a 4-star tight end from Cincinnati. They also picked up a 4-star receiver from Vanderbilt, a 4-star defensive lineman from Pitt, a 4-star offensive lineman from Houston, a 4-star defensive lineman from LSU, and a 4-star safety from Liberty. So that's 4 4-stars that I just named. He's also picking up 4 3-stars on the offensive line, and also a couple 3-star defensive linemen. That's a lot of players who should really help this Colorado team out. And if anybody thinks Colorado will actually be worse next season, then let me tell you straight up that you're probably wrong. Deion has the money, and it's pretty simple that players want to play at Colorado. By any means, I'm not saying Colorado will make the playoffs or even win the Big 12, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were top 5 in the Big 12, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won 7 or 8 games next year. And the competition is going to get easier, and their team will be better, and I can almost guarantee that, because who actually thinks Colorado will win any less than 6 games next year? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. But how about what Louisville has done in the transfer portal? They've picked up 22 players in the transfer portal. Only 3 4-stars, but still a lot of guys that can make an impact. And I did make a video recently talking about teams who would probably lose more games next season, and I actually had Louisville on the list, but maybe they can prove me wrong. And they are doing a good job in the transfer portal. They picked up a solid quarterback, Tyler Shaw. He's actually a 7th-year senior for any of you who are wondering, and that is crazy. And he will definitely give Louisville that experience factor. The dude has dealt with injuries, but he may be a quarterback that people don't really have their eye on. But I really do think he can help out this Louisville team at the quarterback position. They also picked up not 1, but 2 very solid tight ends and a 4-star running back from Toledo. But one guy that will definitely play a factor is 4-star receiver Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama, and he could turn into a top receiving target for Tyler Shaw if Tyler Shaw, doesn't get injured. But I still don't know if Louisville will be a legit contender for the ACC title next year. But they have done a very good job in the transfer portal, and they got a lot of variety in the transfer portal from the offensive side to the defensive side. I can honestly make an hour-long video talking about the transfer portal. There's so much to talk about. I mean, how about the Oregon Ducks and what they've done in the portal? They may only have picked up 6 guys in the portal, and they may only be ranked 26 in the transfer portal rankings, but this team is already stacked, and they picked up a couple guys that will play a significant factor. They basically filled their quarterback position for the next 3 to 4 years with picking up Dillon Gabriel, who I assume will be the immediate starter next year, and he's already an early Heisman contender. But if you really want to look ahead of time, they picked up Dante Moore from UCLA, who was a 5-star recruit out of high school, and as a freshman, he really had pretty average stats at UCLA, but having Dante Moore take an extra year to learn behind Dillon Gabriel and learn in that Oregon offense could possibly make Dante Moore a very dangerous player if he lives up to his potential. But the Ducks also filled a big part of their defense that they are losing some guys in, which is their secondary, and they picked up safety Kobe Savage from Kansas State, and anybody with Kobe in their name is going to be good. And this guy may only be a 3-star, but he can definitely fill a huge role on this team, and I personally believe that he is better than a 3-star. He was very solid at Kansas State, and I watched him play a little bit, but they also picked up running back Jay Harris to make them even more stacked at the running back position. And Jay Harris is a guy a lot of people do not know about, including myself, because he played at the FCS level. But I've heard a lot of good things about him, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But the Ducks are going to be a dangerous contender in the Big Ten next season. But if you want to talk about a team that has been very up and down in the portal, how about Texas A&M? They lost many key players in just the span of a day, including 5-star defensive lineman Walter Nolan, who went to Ole Miss, and recently 5-star receiver Evan Stewart hit the portal, and he will make an impact wherever he ends up landing. And if you really look at the players that this Texas A&M team lost, they really lost a lot, but they've also gained a lot of positives from the portal, and are ranked number 4 in the transfer portal rankings. And they picked up 5 4-star players. They picked up a 4-star edge rusher and a 4-star cornerback from Florida just recently. They also picked up Marcus Ratcliffe and Donovan Sanders, who are both 4-star secondary players from smaller schools. And after Texas A&M lost all those players, I figured they would have a terrible transfer portal class this year. But they really got a lot of guys who are going to help them out. They have picked up many guys in the portal that are very solid. But it will be interesting to see if they can ever actually compete near the top in the SEC. But it's very doubtful. But how about NC State? They've done pretty well in the portal. They picked up quarterback Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. He was a decent player out of the portal. They also picked up a 4-star receiver and a 4-star tight end and a 4-star running back. And NC State has potential to be good next year. But I guess I should say they were already good this year, and they finished with a 9-4 record. But we'll see if they can be even better next year. NC State had a very good turnaround to the season this year though. But a team that may be under a lot of people's radars is Arizona State. They have a lot of young guys on the team, and a very young head coach in Kenny Dillingham. But they picked up a ton of players that can help them out in the portal, including 4-star cornerback Cole Martin from Oregon, and a 4-star running back from USC, and also a 3-star quarterback Sam Levitt from Michigan State. But overall, they've gotten 15 3-stars out of the portal, and they are just filling up their roster with a bunch of guys. And don't be surprised if we see Arizona State win some games next year. They were bad in the Pac-12 this year, but it will be easier competition in the Big 12, and I could see them winning 6 or 7 games next year. And if not next year, then in a couple years. But if I really wanted to reach, I'd say they can win 8 to 9 games. but that's very unrealistic. But I do believe Kenny Dillingham is doing great work at Arizona State, and he can help turn this team around. But it's just hard to say, and it's way too early to predict what will happen. And no matter what I say, there's always going to be some things I'm wrong about. But I can try my best to predict these teams' success, and that's what I'll continue to do. But I've talked about many teams in this video, and I may have left out a couple teams that have done really good in the portal. Teams like TCU, Indiana, Purdue, South Carolina, and even USC is doing decent in the portal. But I'm sorry if I didn't talk about your team, but I tried my best to cover a lot of the transfer portal in this video. There's really a lot going on, and I'll have to make another video on the transfer portal soon. But it was just announced that former 5-star quarterback recruit from USC has transferred to Boise State, and Boise State is also another team that can be a lot better next year. And they've also done decent in the portal. I mean, the list goes on, and if I left your team out, then I'm sorry. But it will be interesting to see where 5-star receiver Evan Stewart transfers to. And I might have to make a video covering that soon, depending on which team lands Evan Stewart. But as an Oregon Ducks fan, I hope he transfers to Oregon, because we could use another receiver to help stack us up even more, because our receiving core is going to be loaded going into next year. And Evan Stewart is visiting Oregon. And could you imagine Dylan Gabriel throwing to Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart in his first year at Oregon? That would be very hard to stop. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys want more transfer portal videos, then let me know down in the comments below. But let me remind you guys to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel, because we post daily college football videos, and we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider subscribing. But anyways, that's going to do it, guys, and peace out.